Welcome to Club Conversation, where we interview a new Toastmaster each month. Tonight we'll be talking with Gregg Siegfried. Welcome, Gregg.
Hey, thanks, Jeff.
First of all, let's start off with just your personal life. Can you tell us a little bit about where you're from? Have you been in the Cincinnati area your entire life?
Sure. I was born here in the Cincinnati area and went through up through high school, and then my family relocated to Cleveland. And after undergrad, I came back down here for a few years, worked at AT&T in downtown Cincinnati, and then kind of started moving around quite a bit, and most of that time out in Seattle, and then came back here once I had a family and raised my kids here, and I've been back here on the order of about 15 years.
I'm just curious, what part of town were you from originally in Cincinnati? I know today you live in the New Richmond area.
I was in Terrace Park.
Oh, wow, neat. Okay. And the big question, are you a Browns fan or a Bengals fan, or neither?
I'm a non-football fan.
Okay, well, it's a good time to be a non-football fan in Ohio.
And certainly in Ohio, yeah.
What about hobbies? Do you have any hobbies that you're interested in?
I've had hobbies, many hobbies over the years, and my work unfortunately has intruded on them lately. But certainly many things from music, playing guitar. I pursue some Indonesian martial arts when I have a chance to do that. I've been a self-defense concealed carry instructor here in Ohio for many years. So I try to stay busy outside of work, but certainly these days your workload sometimes interferes with that.
We do see the guitar in the background. It's not a Gibson and it's not a Fender.
No, that is a PRS, or Paul Reed Smith.
Oh, nice, neat, very nice. What about your professional career? I know you work for a research firm. Can you tell us a little bit about Gartner and what you do there?
Sure. So Gartner is a research and an advisory firm. I've been around for many years, and I work as an analyst here, and an IT industry analyst focusing on technology topics. Usually cloud computing, IT operations, software development, things like that. It's my first job as an analyst. Actually, I've worked as an engineer and operations professional in my career up to now, and it's been very interesting being on this side of the fence, right? From going from essentially a builder, a doer, or a leader of some sort in the creation of technology to more of the observer, the analyst, somebody who advises organizations as they build their own strategy. So it's been an interesting transition, and as part of my work, it's a combination of authoring research papers, 20, 30-page notes related to a particular area of technology. I give presentations as part of the work, as well as at our conferences, and then I also speak with our clients often 20 times a week. I'll have hour-long conversations with Gartner clients who have a specific challenge that they'd like me to give them some advice on.
Wow, this sounds like a lot of communication, either written or verbal in the case we're talking to your clients, and certainly when you're giving presentations. What presentations, how are these? Small, large? What kind of crowds are you in front of?
I'm not yet gotten to the point where I'm giving keynote presentations at conferences, which can be to 5, 10,000 people. But the breakout style of presentations at our conferences are often in the hundreds, anywhere from 50 to 200 people would attend a presentation, and those are normally in a room that's configured for that. Although we are on occasion asked to deliver the presentation in say a much more busy area where a lot of things are going on, which presents its own challenges as well.
And I'm assuming you would do that in a webinar format on occasion.
We do give webinars, and yeah, I've presented a couple of webinars. My team does it a couple times a year. I think my turn is probably going to come up early in 2020 to do another one of those as well.
Okay. What would you say the three most important skills that you use in your professional life? What are those skills that helps you succeed in your daily work life?
Being able, yeah, the first and foremost, I'm called upon to quickly analyze information. Think on my feet. Sometimes for example, the hour-long client inquiries that I have. Sometimes and many times the description that I get from our scheduling team before that inquiry starts bears little or no resemblance to what the client's concern actually is. So many times, even though I may have spent some time preparing for the conversation, that preparation has gone for naught, and I've got to address completely different things. So that's thinking on your feet, very important. Poise under pressure, and then just the whole. I mean, everything I do is around communication, whether it's written, whether it's presenting, whether it's a one-on-one conversation, whether it's collaborating with my colleagues on my team, as we do some joint research sometimes as well. So communication is first and foremost. Uh, the technical background is important. I think as an engineer, I bring something to the analyst job that some of the other analysts that may not have worked as a technologist as much as I had uh, don't have. So that doesn't. It's not necessarily a requirement, but you bring sometimes a more realistic perspective to certain types of client problems when you've been there, and that's been of assistance as well.
Great, great. Well, this is a perfect segue to talk about Toastmasters. You mentioned communication and how important that is. Toastmasters is the nonprofit that is dedicated to communication and leadership skills. So you are a member. Tell us what club you're a member of. How long have you been a member? Any officer positions that you've held?
I've been a member of Talk Toastmasters for about going on 2 years now, and I've held the sergeant at arms position. I've held the secretary position. Not yet any of the more taxing officer positions, but it's been a it's been a club that's changed. And it's grown and shrank a bit, but it's been a consistently welcoming and friendly environment full of very high quality members.
I may disagree with you about the sergeant at arms role being not taxing. That's,
it's it's taxing in a different way.
this is the
Yeah,
person that
yeah.
sets up the meeting for those
Correct. Yeah.
who don't know. Now, Toastmasters it's not just about standing up and giving speeches, although certainly at every meeting you can schedule a prepared speech. We have a segment where people give impromptu speaking to work on your on the fly skills, if you will. But there's also the educational program, which they call Pathways, and the former Legacy program, which was a manual-based competent communicator. So you've worked in both of those. Can you tell us just a little bit about that journey, what pathway you're enrolled in or you're registered for?
I mean, Pathways has been an impressive change to the traditional one. I know a lot of people went through the manual based training for many times. You could work through those manuals as many times as you wanted to, and many people did. The Pathways provides a much richer variety. I think it may attract kind of the modern learners, somebody who's designed to they're focused on, say, tracking their progress. They have different goals. They can very immediate feedback type of learning that sometimes the original program didn't necessarily have. So I think it's a well structured program, and certainly I think they're early in the design of it. It's not been without its challenges. I think specifically the learning management system is not necessarily as straightforward for all users as maybe it could be, but that's secondary to the quality of the milestones and the programs they put together. It's a good program.
Now, which pathway are you enrolled in?
What pathway am I enrolled
If
in?
you're is it leadership development?
It is leadership development. Yes.
Okay. So, final question. Can you mention an example, or you can give us an example where your skills and experiences that you've learned in Toastmasters has helped you in your professional life, for example?
Absolutely. I had a couple just recently over the summer. My team has our annual conference in San Diego, and so there's I had 2 presentations scheduled for that, and I had the ability to run through at least a portion of those presentations in front of the group at Toastmasters, and it provided me with some valuable feedback as I was preparing to deliver those presentations. Now these were 30 to 45-minute presentations. Of course, you don't often do a 30 to 45-minute presentation in a Toastmasters meeting, but I was able to rehearse the the key portions, the beginning and the end, which is the hook and the close, which are often the most important part of these presentations, and being able to do that live in front of an audience was very helpful.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Greg, for taking the time to tell us about your personal, professional, and Toastmaster experiences. And we wish you a very fine evening. Thanks again.
My pleasure. Nice, yeah.